Hey everyone, it's been a little while, but I have been away in Texas for about 2 weeks. Some of you may have seen me speak at Faithless Forum, and if you did, thank you so much to everyone who came to that. Thank you to everyone that I met and everyone I spoke to and took pictures with and got to know, and it was really an absolutely amazing day. It was so overwhelming and so brilliant, and it's the first time I've ever actually met any of my viewers, and it was just, oh my god. It made me so emotional, and it meant so much that so many of you were there to support me, and it was incredible to meet you. I'm gushing a little bit, and I didn't really plan to say anything like this, but the point is, thank you to everyone who came. If you weren't there, Faithless Forum was a kind of skeptic YouTuber event thing in Dallas, Texas, which was organised by the wonderful Holy Kool-Aid, Genetically Modified Skeptic, Prophet of Zod, Telltale. I think they were the main organisers, maybe some more, and it was an amazing opportunity for me to meet so many other YouTubers who I look up to and who I've watched for so long. I was on 2 panels and I did a speech as well. If you want to see my speech, there will probably be a video available at some point. I don't know when because I don't currently have the footage, but if you are supporting me on Patreon, you can go and see a written version of that speech now over there, and even if you just support me for $1 a month, it's available for you to go and have a read and have a look at and let me know your thoughts. Also, just thought I'd get all the admin out of the way. I'm starting a Discord server as well that is for now only going to be Patreon only. It's not properly set up yet. I'm still working on the rules and setting things up and everything. Mostly it's just going to be a fun place for us to all kind of chat about fun stuff like books and science and animals and dogs. And it's going to be very light, very fun, but hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys over there and we'll be able to chat and stuff as well. Also, while I was in Texas, I stayed in Austin for a little while, and you might have seen my appearances on Truth Wanted and Talk Heathen and stuff like that. It was incredible. I feel like I left there with a family, and everyone I met was so amazing and incredible, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to go there and to meet everyone and to get to know these amazing people. So I just wanted to start off my video by saying that that's why I've not made videos for the last couple of weeks, because I've been away, but I have been working and now I'm back. No, but I thought we'd start off with something kind of fairly simple and straightforward, and we're going to be doing part 2 of my Atheist Gives Advice to Christian Questions series. I don't really have a name for it, so I'm just kind of going with that for now. This is where I go on the TrueChristian subreddit and I find questions that people have asked and people wanting advice and stuff, and I give my advice to them, despite not being a Christian, because reasons. Mostly it's just meant to be a little bit of fun, and it's meant to be a kind of alternative perspective for people. I'm not trying to convert anyone, it's just saying, hey look, there are solutions to this without religion. And it's kind of meant to help people, but also be entertaining. And of course, for everything I say and every question I answer, I want to know your thoughts as well. So let me know how you would offer advice to these people down in the comments below. And for now, we're just gonna get started because I'm rambling. The first question we're going to be addressing is from a young teenager who says, boys keep looking at my body and I feel disgusted with myself. I'm a follower of God. I'm 14, I go to a youth group which teaches amazing ways to follow God, though a lot of the kids that go there are just going there to hang out with friends and aren't Christian most of the time. I've been noticing a lot of boys staring at my body at the youth lately though, and just thinking about this I feel absolutely terrified. I don't know why I feel scared. I don't think any of them would rape or assault me, but I just don't want my body to be used to disrespect God. I don't want my body looked at in any lustful way. I started crying about it when I got home. I prayed about it. I feel a bit better. I've just never dealt with something like this before. I know I shouldn't be disgusted by my body because of this, but I just feel so grossed out thinking of teenage boys thinking of my body like that. I don't know what to do. I'm scared and I just need comfort. So again, hell of a lot to unpack here, and I think this isn't just a Christian issue, although there's definitely kind of Christian guilt in there. I think this is something that a lot of teenage girls go through and face, and I think the first thing I would say to her is that you should never be disgusted by your body. The way other people look at you, or the way other people think about you, is never your fault. Screw people like this next commenter who responded to this by saying, are you wearing any tight clothes? Showing up a body skin? I ask because even clothes that many Christians think are acceptable have me looking at the floor in church. Pants that hug the behind. Shirts showing cleavage are socially acceptable, but they put any healthy male in danger of lusting or looking for a second too long. Men are visually stimulated and it doesn't take much. No, she's 14, don't shame her for what she's wearing. Just allow her to be comfortable and happy in her body. And she shouldn't feel like she has to hide herself because of how other people might think about her or look at her or whatever. Of course it's really difficult because you can't ever control how people think about you or look at you or respond to you. You can never control other people, you can only control how you respond to it. I think it gets more complicated as well because this is definitely something that every woman I know has gone through people sexualizing us when we don't want to be sexualized. And it can make you feel dirty and disgusting and gross. I remember being like 16 and being whistled at in the street by a bunch of builders, and it grossed me out. And I was thinking, am I doing something wrong? Is this my fault? And it took me a long time to realize, no, it's not my fault. Just because I was wearing a dress on a warm summer's day, what do they want me to do? Cover myself up and completely and then like sweat and be gross and bleh, and overheat probably. The problem was with them, not me, but it's very hard to think like that as a teenager. I guess I don't really have an absolute answer for this girl, so I kind of want to open this up to you guys and be like, what advice would you give a 14-year-old who's feeling like this? The big things that I would say, I'm probably repeating myself a little bit, are never feel disgusted with yourself or about your body based on how other people treat you. Once you learn to be content with who you are, and once you learn to be confident in yourself, how other people treat you and look at you doesn't matter as much, and it shouldn't matter. Yes, it can make you feel gross, and it can be unpleasant when people are sexualizing you when you don't want them to, but you also have the power and the strength to turn around and say, like, that's not gonna bother me, and just be comfortable and confident in who you are. And it's very difficult to get to that place, and we shouldn't necessarily have to get to that place, but it is possible and you can. Does that make sense? I know a lot when I started YouTube, people were constantly saying like, oh, you're wearing such and such a thing for views. Oh, you're doing such and such because you're thirsty for attention. And I'm like, no. It was summer when I started making YouTube videos, so obviously I was wearing tank tops and dresses because it is red hot in summer in London when you have a south-facing flat that lets all the light in and everything. It was boiling, and I was wearing clothes that I was comfortable in, and I didn't necessarily think how people were going to see me, and so people obviously got the wrong impression and were just like, oh, you're just trying to get views, you me. It's taken nearly 2 years for me to get to a point where I can be like, no, screw those people. They're in the wrong for sexualizing me when I was just trying to be comfortable, and I don't let it affect me anymore because I know they're wrong. I want views for calling out harmful behaviors. I want views for my video content, not because I happen to be wearing a tank top. If I was really that desperate for views based on my body, I'd just be some kind of like cam girl, and I'm not going to do that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just not for me. I guess the final point I want to make about this question is that it makes me sad that she even feels like it's her fault in any way, or that she's like disgusted by herself in any way. It really makes me sad that a lot of religions teach young women to feel guilty about their bodies, about their sexuality, about just being who they are. It makes me really sad that there are some religions who teach that when a man looks at you sexually, it's your fault, and it's not. I guess in terms of practical advice, I'd say maybe just have a word with the leader of the youth group and see if they can have a word with not only the boys, actually, because girls can be just as bad at sexualizing men, you know? Or women can be just as bad at sexualizing men. Yeah, I guess maybe this would be a really good teaching moment to talk to teenagers about kind of boundaries and making other people feel comfortable and uncomfortable and so on. So, you know, I'd say speak to the leader of the group, get them to use it as a teaching moment about boundaries, and never feel ashamed of yourself or your body. The next question is quite a simple one. Can demons cause medication to do nothing? Do they have that kind of power over the body? No. No, they don't. I more wanted to speak about this one because of one of the answers that was given, and I can only hope this is someone joking, but sadly, from what I've experienced of certain fundamentalist Christians, I don't think it's a joke. But this person said, just to state a fact, most man-made medicines are completely useless. I mean, that's completely untrue, but okay. The weird part about this is that despite just being reality, some people tend to get mad about it and go on about legalizing marijuana just because they want to get intoxicated with that pointless mess. Where the hell did marijuana just suddenly come from? That's not up there with, like, regular medications. Yes, okay, marijuana can have medical uses, but I guess to me it just seems weird to just suddenly bring marijuana up out of nowhere when talking about prescription medications like antibiotics or... Sorry, Kyra's snoring so much. Or whatever other medication people use. Anyway, it goes on. Here's what the mainstream media and addicts don't want you to know. Marijuana/cannabis, cold medicine, mental health pills, antidepressants, etc. literally do nothing aside from cause negative effects and intoxicate you depending on what you're taking. No, that could not be further from the truth. I think this kind of thing is just a basic misunderstanding of how a lot of medications work and why it's so important to take some of them. Yes, okay, there are some kind of exceptions and it's not maybe as straightforward as that. For example, when he says like cold medicine, Yes, you can't cure a virus like a cold or a flu by taking medication like cold and flu pills, but they will help relieve the symptoms. For example, they'll clear a blocked nose or soothe a sore throat or whatever. It's not a matter of curing, but it's about helping you cope with it. Something like antidepressants, on the other hand, some people find that antidepressants do completely help them. Some people find they don't help at all. Some people find that using antidepressants whilst in therapy or counselling helps. For me, it was a mixture of both, but I still have to take them because for me, depression and anxiety is a result of my brain not functioning properly on a chemical level. Therefore, taking chemicals to help me with that, to help me normalize myself, is the only way I can stay healthy and functional. I don't get how some people just don't understand this kind of thing. Getting intoxicated doesn't truly resolve anything, so what's the point? For example, many people are pushing to legalize marijuana cannabis, but the whole concept of it being good for people is a nonsensical lie that's based on no plausible data that's factual. And then some more stuff, again, completely misunderstanding the point. No one's saying that marijuana cures anything, but it can help ease symptoms of things. For example, people who use it whilst doing chemotherapy, it's more to help stopping nausea and help them relax a little bit, rather than to cure the cancer. No one's claiming that, but there is evidence to suggest it helps, which is why people want to legalize it, at least for medical use. Don't even get started on cold medicine. No matter what you do, you'll ultimately be waiting for the virus to take its course. Yes, technically true, but that doesn't mean you can't help relieve the symptoms in the meantime. There are plenty of times when I've had a cold, when I've had an exam, or I've had to work or whatever, and without that medication, I would be screwed. I just wouldn't be able to function. Man-made medicines aside, you can always research the Lord's natural medicines, instead of pointless drugs with side effects and sinful intoxication. Not to mention prayer and good faith. God has blessed the world with many different resources and diets that have proven to be quite effective for those struggling with illnesses. Body pains, cancer, diabetes, skin issues, etc. Even my own father beat diabetes by taking a natural approach, so I'm not just making stuff up here. Ah yes, because one anecdote definitely undoes hundreds of years of medical research. Most people are just unaware because they believe health issues will require man-made medicine, and believe me, I can give many personal facts proving God's medicines are superior, and most man-made medicines are useless. So we're just not going to talk about how, before man-made medicines, people were just dying, and dying, and dying. And we had plagues and all sorts of stuff. And how now we've managed to eradicate so many deadly illnesses. How illnesses that were once almost sure to kill you now barely set you back for a week. Are we not going to talk about any of that? Because I don't see God eradicating smallpox. Getting to the point, the answer is no. Demons aren't controlling medication to cease them from working. Most of them just flat out don't work anyway. Demons can physically harm the body, but for those who follow Christ, it is limited because the Lord doesn't allow us to take on anything we cannot handle. Hope that helps. God bless. I really hope this is a joke. Please be a joke. Thankfully, no one took him seriously and they're all a bit like, you're a douche, stop putting people in danger. Last up, we have a nice simple question that does have a nice definite answer, I think. There's kind of no two ways around this one. It reads, transgender pronouns. Do we use their real pronoun or the one they want us to use to avoid stirring up conflict? Say, hypothetically, a guy you work with decides he's actually a girl and wants everyone to start calling him or her. Since you work together for 8 hours a day, you can't really dodge the pronouns. What do? Would calling him be stirring up unnecessary conflict? I know the Bible says to try to live peacefully with everyone, but where is the line drawn? So, there's one very simple answer here. You use their real pronouns. Their real pronouns being the ones they want you to use, because that's just being a decent, respectful human being. There's no real pronouns. There's so much more to gender than just what genitals you're born with. I've been learning a hell of a lot this last week about kind of intersex people and how even sex isn't as basic and simple as so many people think it is. So many people are born with different mixtures of chromosomes or extra chromosomes or all sorts of stuff. So therefore, while sex might be a complicated issue, I don't see why how we address gender in terms of pronouns has to be. You simply respect the pronouns a person wants you to use. It's as simple as that. Treat human beings as human beings, and part of that is by respecting how they want to express themselves. I don't see why this is a big issue. I hate this whole would you call him him? I'm like, no, you call her her. they feel like a woman, so you refer to them as a woman. I don't see why this is even a question or why it's a thing, and it kind of makes me a little bit mad. Again, this isn't a Christian versus atheist kind of thing. This is just a be a decent human being kind of thing. So, there you go. Just felt like ranting about that a little bit. Anyway, that's basically me done. They're the short questions I wanted to address for today. I know things are a little bit kind of like all up in the air at the minute. This wasn't really a planned video that much. I just found a few questions and then rambled for a bit. I didn't want to make it too long, but I did want to put out a video because it's been a while and I just kind of wanted to update you guys on where I'm at with everything. Obviously, I'm still unpacking all my stuff. I still have boxes everywhere. I only got home from Texas yesterday, so unpacking is just not happening, to be honest. I still have a lot of stuff to do. The flat is slowly starting to become a home and it's slowly starting to be functional, but it's a long process and I'm just very tired. So you'll have to forgive me. Oh god, that air freshener! It keeps terrifying me. Yeah, so you'll have to forgive me for kind of being a little bit all over the place. Of the questions we covered today, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what advice you would give, regardless of your religious background. Tell me, are you a Christian, an atheist? Are you some other religious denomination? Whatever, and like how you would answer these questions and what advice you would give. I guess for me, the one that is kind of the most complex is the young girl who felt disgusted by other people sexualizing her. I think that's probably the most complicated one, and that's one I'd really like to hear your thoughts on. But share your thoughts on all of them. Let me know. Thank you for watching today. I'm sorry I'm a little all over the place and that everything's a little crazy and that I kind of disappeared for 2 weeks because Texas. We are going to get back to regular videos again now, and I'm going to sort my life out. Hopefully. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you again soon. Thank you so much to everyone supporting me on Patreon this month, with a special thank you going to Data Jack, Gambit and Chauffeur, Liv's Pantyhose Addiction, Christian Berg, Jadeon Sheppard, Robert Korte, Peter Kyrouac, Sir Michael Moore, Christina the Atheist, Christian Opitz, Sage Villarreal, Greg Ladd and Loren Hart. You and everyone else supporting me on Patreon is absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. Thank you so much.
My time listening to songs you wrote about